I'll admit it. I'll say it. I'll admit it. This one was on Jalen. This loss was definitely on Jalen. Jalen Hurts definitely deserves most of the blame for this loss against the Chargers. I know that. I know that. 5 turnovers, that's ridiculous. 5 turnovers is inexcusable. Even if you want to say 4 because one was technically A.J. Brown's fault, 4 turnovers is still crazy. 4 turnovers, a 31% passer rating, 50% completion percentage. Like, there's just most of the blame does fall on Jalen Hurts. The defense was balling out. A.J. Brown, while he was by no means perfect, still putting up 100 receiving yards. Saquon Barkley rushing for over 100 and a touchdown. Dallas Goedert showing up the way he did on the offensive end. Jalen Hurts having all day to throw the ball. The O-line giving Jalen Hurts almost 10 seconds to throw the football, even though they were hurt. Like, most of the blame definitely does go to Jalen Hurts on this loss, for sure. Definitely goes to Jalen Hurts on this loss. Like, Jalen Hurts in this loss, like, it didn't look, he didn't look locked in. He was sloppy with the football, which is something we're not accustomed to seeing. He didn't make the right decisions. You know, this was a tough game for Jalen Hurts for sure. For sure, a tough game. But Jalen Hurts is still my quarterback. This was a terrible game for Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts is still my quarterback. I'm still 10 toes behind Jalen. I am still taking Jalen Alexander Hurts over any other quarterback in the NFL on any given Sunday. I'm still taking Jalen Hurts over anyone else in the NFL because I know that is still a guy that is going to win me a championship. That is still a guy that is going to show up in the biggest moments of the game. Y'all, the way y'all talk about Jalen Hurts, y'all would think he has this type of game every week. Like, the way y'all talk about Jalen Hurts, you would think he has 3 to 4 turnovers every single week. Like, to everyone saying that Tanner McKee should be starting, Jalen Hurts is the true problem in the offense. Like, Jalen Hurts is this. Jalen Hurts is not a top 20 quarterback. Like, respectfully, y'all don't know ball. Respectfully, those who think Jalen Hurts should not be starting, those who think that this should be Tanner McKee's game or Tanner McKee's team, those who think Jalen Hurts is still not an elite quarterback because of a couple of bad games this season, respectfully, y'all don't know ball. Jalen Hurts is still the one. Jalen Hurts is still the one. And I would still take Jalen Hurts 10 times out of 10 over any other quarterback in the NFL. I'm still taking Jalen Hurts over Lamar Jackson. I'm still taking Jalen Hurts over Josh Allen. I'm still taking Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow, over Matt Stafford. I'm still taking Jalen Hurts over Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson, like, Jalen Hurts is still more than none. Jalen Hurts is still the reason the Eagles win games more than he's the reason they lose games. You can't say the same about Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson is consistently the reason why the Ravens lose in the playoffs. Josh Allen, for the life of him, can't beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes, right now, he's got a loss to Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. He couldn't beat the guy that y'all say is not elite. I'm still taking Jalen Hurts 10 times out of 10 on any given Sunday before any other quarterback in the NFL. Whether it's a game for my life, whether it's fate of the universe is on the line, Thanos has the gauntlet on, about to snap his fingers and says, this guy has to win the game. I'm taking Jalen Hurts 10 times out of 10. Still, I'm taking the Super Bowl MVP. I'm taking the guy that's put up 35 plus points in 2 different Super Bowls. I'm taking the guy that has the greatest rushing performances by a quarterback in Super Bowl history. I'm taking the guy that continues to put up all-time numbers in the NFL. I'm taking the guy who is one of the only 2 quarterbacks right now to be an All-Pro and a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP in the same season. That's who I'm taking first. That's who I'm taking 10 times out of 10. The way y'all talk about Jalen Hurts, you think Jalen Hurts does this every single week. The way y'all talk about Jalen Hurts, you would think he's New York Giants Daniel Jones. Now, Jalen Hurts definitely deserves most of the blame for this loss to the Chargers. Jalen Hurts looked awful. He looked terrible. Multiple turnovers, didn't make the right decisions, looking sloppy, didn't look, frankly, confident, wasn't on the same page with the receivers. Most of the blame does go to Jalen Hurts, but not all of the blame should go to Jalen Hurts. Like, we're not going to act like A.J. Brown was perfect this game. We're not going to act like A.J. Brown was perfect this game. Like, Jalen Hurts deserves most of the blame, but A.J. Brown deserves blame as well. We're not going to act like A.J. Brown was perfect this game. Yes, A.J. Brown had over 100 receiving yards, but he also had 3 huge drops that helped the Eagles lose this game as well. 3 huge drops. First drop he had was the first drive of the game for the Eagles on offense. They take a shot. A.J. Brown right through his fingertips. If he catches that ball, that's either a touchdown or at the very least a huge chunk play that puts the Eagles offense in the red zone in a position to score. Second drop he had, he gets alligator arms in traffic. Ball bounces off his hands, basically a tip drill for Cam Hart for an interception. His third drop in the end zone in the fourth quarter could have won the game for the Eagles right through. Jalen Hurts, a dot in the end zone right through his fingertips. If A.J. Brown catches that ball, the Eagles win the game. If A.J. Brown catches at least 2 of those passes, the Eagles win the game. The Eagles win the game. As an elite receiver, as a top 3 receiver in the NFL, as a leader on this offense, as someone who has called out and challenged this offense throughout the season, those are plays you got to make. Those are plays you have to make. As an elite receiver, as a leader of the offense, as someone who has been as vocal as he has been, those are got to have it plays for A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown has to come through on those plays. A.J. Brown could have bailed out Jalen Hurts multiple times in this game. Could have bailed him out multiple times in this game. Like, Hurts deserves most of the blame for this loss. 5 turnovers is inexcusable. But A.J. Brown also deserves blame. A.J. Brown deserves blame right along with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' 5 turnovers are inexcusable. But we also can't just that doesn't mean we can just let A.J. Brown's 3 huge drops, 3 potentially game-changing drops slide either. We can't let that slide. Like, honestly, A.J. Brown had a CeeDee Lamb type of a game. A.J. Brown had a CeeDee Lamb type of game because he didn't catch the ball in the biggest moments of the game, the most important moments of this game. We've seen CeeDee Lamb fold on multiple occasions this season. In crunch time, gotta have it moments, on game-winning / game-sealing plays, we've seen A.J. Brown fold. We've seen the ball slip through A.J. Brown's hands or hit him right in the chest. A.J. Brown has folded in multiple instances this season. That's the type of game A.J. Brown had against the Chargers. He had a CeeDee Lamb type of game. A.J. Brown did not come through for the Eagles when the Eagles needed him the most. It's like Avatar: Last Airbender. When the world needed him most, he vanished. He vanished. A.J. Brown did not come through when the Eagles needed him the most. And honestly, when A.J. Brown had multiple occasions, he could have bailed out Jalen Hurts. So yes, A.J. Brown had a flashy stat line. He had over 100 receiving yards, but he did not make the plays that mattered the most. He did not make the gotta have it plays in the biggest moments of the game. Plays that would have won the game for the Eagles. Now, something I do respect is that he did take accountability. A.J. Brown did acknowledge, like, after those 3 crucial drops that A.J. Brown had against the Chargers, he did acknowledge that those were gotta have it plays. He did take accountability, which is something you want to see from your leader and from one of the leaders, from your elite wide receiver 1. After not making the plays that we are used to seeing him make, plays that he is known for being able to make, it's a good sign that he owned up to it, that he did take accountability. He didn't call out the offense as a whole. He didn't blame his quarterback. He owned up to his mistakes. That's what real leaders and elite players do. That's what game changers do. So that's at least that's something I do respect out of this outing from AJ Brown is his accountability. And it's honestly a sign. I don't think we'll see another game like this from AJ Brown moving forward. Like, AJ Brown is not the type of guy that'll make the same mistake twice. Like, I think him having accountability and owning up to it, I don't think we'll see AJ Brown drop any more catches like that for the rest of the season into the playoffs. I don't think we'll see that ever again. AJ Brown is on a mission from here on out. He's on a mission from here on out. So it is a positive sign that he took accountability, but he definitely does not escape the blame. AJ Brown deserves blame as well. Jalen Hurts deserves most of the blame, but AJ Brown deserves blame as well. Like, AJ Brown, yes, had 100 receiving yards, but AJ Brown was not the best offensive player for the Eagles against the Chargers. AJ Brown had multiple occasions where he did not show up when his number was called. Dallas Goedert outplayed AJ Brown. Saquon Barkley outplayed AJ Brown. Dallas Goedert came through huge for the offense multiple times, was a huge security blanket for Jalen Hurts, multiple third down situations, 78 receiving yards for Dallas Goedert. Whenever his number was called, he came through. He came through and answered the call. He showed up. Saquon Barkley, even though there was no creativity in the run game, even though Landon Dickerson was hurt, when his number was called, Saquon Barkley showed up. Saquon Barkley made the big plays he needed to make for this Eagles offense. So yes, AJ Brown had a flashy stat line. He had 100 receiving yards, but AJ Brown was not the best player on the offense against the Chargers. Dallas Goedert outplayed AJ Brown, and Saquon Barkley outplayed AJ Brown. So, it's honestly something we need more. Like, so we did see good things from this offense, but there was definitely more blame that needs to go around other than just Jalen Hurts. Other than just Jalen Hurts. Honestly, looking at this offense specifically, we need more out of three specific guys, three key guys. This offense needs more out of AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Nick Sirianni. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith against the Chargers had an average of 2 yards separations, had an average 2 yards of separation against the Chargers. The league average for receivers is 4 yards of separation. So a bunch of guys who are not nearly as talented as AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are averaging more yards of separation. So AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, it's not like they were doing a great job of getting open. Jalen Hurts didn't have many windows to throw to when looking at his receiver duo. But that also is a problem that starts with now Nick Sirianni. Now that Nick Sirianni is the play caller, now that Nick Sirianni has supposedly taken over the OC responsibilities from Kevin Patullo, it's on Nick Sirianni to put AJ Brown and Devontae Smith in a position to create that separation, in a position to succeed in the deep thirds of the field. Like Nick Sirianni, now that he's the play caller, Sirianni has to open up that route tree to give A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith room to do what they do. To give them room to create space and to create separation in the deep thirds of the field. So yes, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith need to do a better job of getting open. They didn't do a good job of creating separation and creating throwing windows for Jalen Hurts to take advantage of. But that's also on Nick Sirianni for not taking the leash off, for not putting them in a position to do what they do, to be elite receivers. Like, that's something we got to see more of. We have to see more of a variety of routes for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith only ran one crosser that entire night against the Chargers. Devontae Smith only ran one crosser against the Chargers on Monday night. Nick Sirianni, now that he is in charge, now that he's supposedly calling the shots for this offense, having the experience that he does as a quarterback's coach, as an offensive coordinator, Nick Sirianni should be able to and needs to open up the route tree for and to be able to fully utilize his elite receivers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith need to do a better job of creating separation, but Nick Sirianni opening up the playbook and expanding the route tree will make it easier for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to have that result. It'll make it easier for those guys to create separation, to get open, creating more throwing windows and throwing lanes for Jalen Hurts. But A.J. Brown was right from the beginning. A lot of what A.J. Brown said at the beginning was right. This offense does need to do more. This offense does need to carry its part alongside the defense. This whole season, we've seen the defense consistently outplay and carry this offense. A.J. Brown was right in that sense in terms of the offense needing to do more. Now, A.J. Brown has to back up that talk himself. He's got to, like, being as vocal as he's been, he's got to back up the talk. He's got to make the gimme plays, the gotta have it plays when he's presented with those opportunities. But the offense as a whole definitely does need to do more. Like, this game against the Chargers was an example of the defense vastly outplaying the offense. Like, we may not have the Eagles didn't beat the Chargers, but the Eagles defense definitely beat Justin Herbert. 100%. 7 sacks, 11 QB hits, 1 interception, 5 pass breakups. They only allowed 1 touchdown on the night from the Chargers, held Justin Herbert to under 140 passing yards. This defense did everything it needed to do to win this game. When your defense plays like that at that level without their best player in Jalen Carter, there's no excuse for you to lose that game. There's no excuse that you lose that game with your defense playing the way it did, especially without their best player. The defense did everything they needed to do for the Eagles to win this game. So the Eagles, we may not have gotten the dub, but this Eagles defense definitely beat Justin Herbert. They were wreaking havoc on Justin Herbert all night long. Justin Herbert was extremely uncomfortable. He was still throwing dots here and there. He was making plays he needed to make. But this Eagles defense made it hard. Like, Jalen Hurts definitely deserves most of the blame for this loss. The defense playing the way it was. A.J. Brown, even though he wasn't perfect, still putting up over 100 receiving yards. Saquon Barkley still rushing for over 100 yards. Dallas Goedert showing up the way he did. The fact that Jalen Hurts had all day to throw the football, even with the O-line being injured. Most of the blame definitely does go on Jalen Hurts because that's who you can point the finger at. The fact that even Adoree Jackson played a good game, getting an interception. Most of the parts everything on this team for the most part was rolling. Everything was rolling. The fingers do point back to Jalen Hurts at the end of the day. Most of the blame does go on Jalen Hurts. You have no excuse for losing this game with your defense playing the way it did without their best player. And that's honestly been the story this season. Not Jalen Hurts, but the offense as a whole. The fact that this defense, that's been the story this season. The defense outplaying the offense, bailing out the offense. We saw the latest example of that against the Chargers. A big reason why the Eagles defense was so dominant against the Chargers was because of Nakobe Dean. There's no way I can watch this game against the Chargers and not highlight Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean this year looks like the best blitzing linebacker in the NFL. The best blitzing linebacker in the NFL. There is no running back that can stop this man from getting to their quarterback. No running back. Nakobe Dean bullied Amarian Hampton. Nakobe Dean is going to run through your face every single time. Nakobe Dean ran through Amarian Hampton's face, put him in Justin Herbert's lap, and got to Justin Herbert for the strip sack. He bullied Amarian Hampton just like he bullied David Montgomery. He bullied Amarian Hampton just like he bullied Javonte Williams. There is no running back that can stop Nakobe Dean with a full head of steam from getting to their quarterback. There is no running back that can stop Nakobe Dean. Even if you were to put Derrick Henry back there, if you were to put Derrick Henry in a pass block set, blocking for Lamar Jackson, Nakobe Dean on a blitz, I'm picking Nakobe Dean 9 times out of 10 to run through Derrick Henry's face and get to Lamar Jackson for the sack. Nakobe Dean will put Derrick Henry on his back to get to Lamar Jackson. If Derrick Henry can't pass block Nakobe Dean, there is no running back in the NFL that can stop Nakobe Dean with a full head of steam. Because Nakobe Dean is going to run through your face regardless of who it is. Nakobe Dean is running through your face regardless of who it is. Nakobe Dean this year looks like the best blitzing linebacker in the NFL. Nakobe Dean was dominant against the Chargers. Now, yes, Nakobe Dean did get smoked in coverage against Kamani Vidal, but that's not a normal thing. That's not a usual occurrence. Nakobe Dean usually holds his own in coverage. He's a good run stopper, and he has done a great job at rushing the passer and collapsing the pocket in pass rush situations. Nakobe Dean looks like an elite linebacker. Nakobe Dean, if Nakobe Dean played this entire season, if he was healthy this entire season, playing at this level, Nakobe Dean would be an all-pro linebacker easily. 100%. With how elite he has looked at rushing the passer this year, with how well-balanced of a linebacker he has proven to be, Nakobe Dean playing the way he's playing now, if he was healthy this entire season, no question he would be an all-pro. Nakobe Dean is an elite linebacker. He's an elite linebacker. And he's been a huge spark. Like, Nakobe Dean has honestly been the spark plug for this defense. Like, since he's come back, this defense has played with a different type of energy. Our offense just hasn't delivered on the other end. But Nakobe Dean has been doing his part for sure. 1,000%. But that's something we need to see more of. We need to see the offense. When you have guys like this, honestly, seeing Nakobe Dean play the way he did against the Chargers, it just reminds me of how much talent we have on this team. How much talent we have on this team. Like, we have way too much talent on this team for the offense to be folding the way it has, for the offense to be underperforming the way it has. Like, but this season is not over. By no means is this season over. Like, it looks bad right now, but this season is not over. The Eagles have 4 games left. We got 4 games. We got the Raiders at home, the Commanders and the Bills on the road, and then the Commanders at home again. The Eagles are winning the next 3 games. This season is not over. The Eagles are winning the next 3 games. They're beating the brakes off the Raiders at home, and it's going to be a dogfight against the Commanders and the Bills on the road. The Eagles are winning out. Like, the division, we got the division locked up. The Cowboys aren't taking the division from us. I'm not worried about that. The goal right now is the conference. The Eagles are winning out. They're winning these next 3 games because they have to. Because they have to. Like, the Eagles need these next 3 games. They're going to win these next 3 games because they need these next 3 games in order to have a shot at having home field advantage. And at that point, that's something we need. With how this Eagles team looks right now, home field advantage is something this Eagles team needs 100%. It's something this Eagles team needs. It would make me feel a whole lot more comfortable. Like, with how inconsistent the offense has looked, even with how sort of up and down the defense has looked at times, I would feel way more comfortable with the Eagles being at home than having to see the Rams on the road, having to see the Packers in Lambeau, having to see the Seahawks in Seattle. Like, even though I'm not scared of Sam Darnold per se, a playoff Sam Darnold per se, I would rather see that Seattle defense in Philly than in Seattle at the Nest. 100%. The Eagles right now, they're going to win these next 3 games because they have to in order to have a shot at getting home field advantage, because that's something we need. That is definitely something we need. Like, looking next week at the Raiders, The Eagles are going to beat the brakes off the Raiders. They're going to beat the brakes off the Raiders. Like, this Eagles defense should have no issue with Geno Smith in this offense. The Broncos were able to get to Geno Smith 19 times, 19 QB hits. The Eagles are going to get 8 sacks against Geno Smith. We got 7 against Justin Herbert. Geno Smith is seeing turf 8 times. 8 times. Even with Brock Bowers on the field. Even whether Jalen Carter is back or not, this Eagles defense should obliterate Geno Smith and this Raiders offense. 100%. On the offensive end, this should be a field day for the Eagles offense against the Raiders. Even with Max Crosby, like, we may have a problem with Max Crosby without Lane Johnson being on the field, if he's not, in case he's not playing. But the Eagles know how to contain a pass rush. If the Eagles can contain Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary and that Packers pass rush, the Eagles can contain Max Crosby. Whatever you need to die, like, the Eagles know how to contain a pass rush. Screens, RPOs, read options, running the football, using Saquon Barkley in creative ways, actually using Tank Bigsby in some capacity. The Eagles know how to contain the pass rush. The Eagles should not have a lot of issues with Max Crosby. This would be a field day for this Eagles offense. So Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo, whoever's calling the plays on Sunday, dial it up. Dial up whatever you need to dial up to eliminate that pass rush. Because if we eliminate the pass rush, it's a field day. If we eliminate the pass rush, if we contain Max Crosby, this Eagles offense should have a field day. Like, this game against the Raiders, the Eagles should have no issue with the Raiders. The Eagles defense should be able to beat up on Geno Smith in the offense. And the Eagles offense should be able to beat up on Max Crosby and the defense. Like, we should not be getting into a shootout with Geno Smith and the Raiders. If the Eagles are in a shootout with Geno Smith and the Raiders, I'll be way more concerned. I'll be way more concerned. If the Eagles get into a shootout with Geno Smith and the Raiders, I would be way more concerned. Way more concerned. But, like, because with how up and down the offense has looked, I would be way more concerned if we're in a shootout with Geno, because honestly, I know Jalen hurt, but I don't think that'll happen. I think this Eagles offense is going to obliterate the Raiders defense, because Jalen Hurts is never going to, like, that's a positive spin from this past game. Jalen Hurts was terrible. Jalen Hurts was awful, for sure. But a positive spin on it is that Jalen Hurts is never going to look that bad for the rest of the season. Like that's the good news. Like, the good news is it's only up from here. Like, Jalen Hurts there's no way he'll look worse or close to as bad as he looked against the Chargers moving forward. And that's honestly the natural order of things. Like, we've been talking about how this offense needs to improve. You know, the playbook needs to be expanded. The offense has to carry more weight. It's the natural order in order for things to improve, it's going to get a little worse first. Like, things are going to get worse before they get better. That's what allows you to make progress. That's what we're seeing with this Eagles offense. Things are gotten a little worse. This Chargers game was a perfect example of that. 5 turnovers. But it's going to get better. I think that's a positive sign that it's going to get better. Like, A.J. Brown being the most productive receiver in the NFL over the past 3 weeks, statistically, is a good sign that the Eagles offense is going to get better. Saquon Barkley having the game he had against the Chargers, his best game of the season, really, is a sign that this offense is going to get better. Dallas Goedert showing up the way he did against the Chargers is a sign that this team is going to get better. Jalen Hurts, there's no way Jalen Hurts is going to look worse or as bad as he did in this Chargers game moving forward in this season. Jalen Hurts is only going to look better, and this offense is only going to look better. So that's a positive spin on this Jalen Hurts game. But this offense has to be able to carry its load next to the defense. The defense playing the way they played against the Chargers without Jalen Carter against an 8-3 Chargers team, there's no excuse the Eagles should have. There's no excuse for losing that game. There's no excuse for losing that game. 7 sacks, 11 QB hits, 5 pass breakups, 1 interception. You need to be able to win that game regardless of who it's against. Especially when your defense plays that way against a talented quarterback, as talented of a quarterback as Justin Herbert is, on an 8-3 team. So I do think moving forward, the Eagles are going to be carrying their weight with the defense for the rest of this season, which is why the Eagles are going to win the next 3 games. Honestly, looking at the next 3 games, the game I'm most worried about is seeing the Commanders at home. The toughest game for the Eagles in this 3-game stretch is going to be seeing the Commanders at home for sure. Because there's not many things that are more dangerous than a team with nothing to lose. A team with nothing to lose is dangerous. I am more worried, and I know Jaden Daniels is hurt, and I know Josh Allen is coming off of a 4-touchdown game, but I am more worried about a Jaden Daniels playing an entire game with a nothing to lose mentality while having a healthy Terry McLaurin, healthy Deebo Samuel, healthy Noah Brown, a healthy offensive line than I am about Josh Allen and this Bills team.